Let's talk about TTK Prestige. Q3 was a steady quarter for the company. The margins were flat sequentially. Domestic sales growth is in single digits, although the export sales are up 21%. TT Jagannathan, the chairman of TTK Prestige, joins us now to talk about that. Mr. Jagannathan, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining in. You know, last month when we spoke, actually in December when we spoke to you, you said that Q3 is better than Q2, but not extremely strong, and you hope to end the year flat, the year FY24. Any change that has taken place since then? Has demand come back, or is it still the same?
Actually, demand fell off in December steeply from October, November. So what we expected double-digit growth in the third quarter, we landed up only with about 6.3%. And demand is still very tight.
Okay, demand is very tight, you said, right? So this 5% domestic sales growth is what you saw in Q3. You think there's any scope of getting to double digit, or is it unlikely in Q4?
It's unlikely in Q4.
Okay. And by the end of the year, you still stick to a flat growth. I'm just trying to understand, when do you see some signs of recovery come through, some signs of perhaps double-digit growth returning?
No, both Q3 and Q4 will be better than last year. So there is growth has started. We still have to make up for Q1 and Q2, which is where the problem is. But it is looking good. It's not looking as bad it was in Q1 and Q2.
What is the reason, Mr. Jagannathan, for demand, as you said, falling steeply? What happened? I mean, are there any reasons?
We believe, and I'm not an economist, but we believe that the discretionary spend has moved off to travel. So luggage, hotels, airlines are all booming. After 2 years of COVID, people have... we had a great time in COVID because people were stuck at home and they bought a lot of cookware. Now, the reverse is happening. They're traveling, they're eating out. So the share of wallet for our business has dropped. It will come back. It is all cycles.
Got it. All right. Hi, Mr. Jagannathan. Good to hear your optimism. So for this year, you're saying you'll end flattish, right, in terms of revenues? For 9 months, it's a bit of a degrowth. For the year, though, you're seeing flattish revenues, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how does FY25 shape up from here on, since you're going to have a more or less flattish year and hopefully demand comes back? And also, what does it mean in terms of margins? Earlier, you were guiding for margins, I think, in the vicinity of around 14 to 16%. That's
We're
not yet
maintaining our
achieved.
margin. We have not sacrificed our margin. We have not bought sales.
Right.
We're maintaining our margin. We are looking at a reasonable growth for FY25. Nothing dramatic, probably high single digits.
Okay.
And we'll maintain our margins.
Okay. You know, sir, but when we had spoken the last time, you were indicating a rough range for the margins of around 15 to around 17%. I think as of the 9 months, you're almost at that 15% odd mark. So from here on, what is the margin trajectory? We get that high single digit growth for FY25, but are there levels in place to improve even in terms of margins?
I doubt that. I think if you maintain 15%, I'll be happy.
Got it.
Okay, maintain 15% margins. I just want to come back to the earlier point you were making. It's interesting, right? You say that the share of the wallet has decreased because discretionary spending has moved to perhaps luxury, travel, luggage, etc. But then what gives you the confidence that things will come back so soon? What if this is a secular story for the next couple of years?
I have been in the business for 50 years and I've seen several cycles. These things come and go. They will.
Okay. No, I get that. But can you give us a little more color into the demand trends? What are you seeing in rural, urban, tier 2, tier 3 cities? Because I understand that this K-shaped recovery is more in the urban side of the market, right? Luxury, premium end of the market. But what about rural?
Rural is slower. The growth is slower. But there is some growth.
Slower than urban, or slower than what you've seen in the past?
It's slower than the company growth.
Okay, rural slightly slower than the company growth. In terms of the channel to the market, I mean, is it even across general trade, e-commerce, or is one faring a little better than the other?
E-commerce is doing a little better than general trade. The large format stores are doing well. It's the mom and pop stores that are struggling.
Okay, all right. I was also reading that has sort of smaller sort of regional players in terms of competition has that intensity increased a little bit as raw material prices have come off, Mr. Jagannathan? Have you seen that?
No, if you look at our peers for the quarter, we've outbeaten all of them, and we're not worried about smaller players.
Okay.
Okay, all right. What about the exports market, sir? By the end of this year, you think you get to that 100 crore mark?
Easily.
Okay. And what about next year? How much does
Next year,
exports scale on that base of 100 crores?
I don't want to put my wishes out, but next year we should double.
Okay, so close to 200 crores on exports at least.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Jagannathan, when the markets are a little bit jittery, demand is a little bit soft, it sometimes throws up some good opportunities. And you have been on the prowl. You have been telling us that you're looking at various assets, but you're not yet ready, to make that announcement. Do you think in the next couple of quarters, you have got that target out there, demand is a little bit weak, which may not be such a bad thing, the acquisition target could want to sell out? Is that a possibility?
It is.
So should we hear it for the next time we chat at the end of this fiscal?
I doubt that. I doubt that. Things don't happen overnight.
And this,
And the target, I think, was around 500 to 100 crores of revenues, right?
Yes.
500 to 1,000 crores of revenues. Got it.
Yes.
So sometime in the first half of next fiscal, not overnight, but we are giving you 2.5 quarters. You think it'll close out?
I am not committing.
Okay, interested buyer, but not committing. So
Hopefully we'll hear about it soon, right? Sooner rather than later. But we had...
Absolutely.
Okay, that's enough for us for now. But what about the new launches? You introduced 25 new SKUs in the last quarter, actually, across all categories. How has the response been?
Very good. In fact, that's what sustained us. The upper end of the market is doing very well.
Okay, so the upper end of the market is doing well. What about Judge, the new brand? That's in the mass market category. How has that done? It was doing a good growth rate, right, of around 40%. Is that something that's sustainable?
You see, growth rates are deceiving. If you're selling one and you sell two, it's 100%. But if you're selling 1 million and you sell to 1.2 million, it's 20%. So Judge is such a small brand that growth rates are deceiving. We'll still grow at 100% from 1 to 2.
okay, all right. Thanks a lot, Mr. Jagannathan, for joining in and filling us in with your take on the business as well as on the industry and how the share of wallet has changed in the last couple of months in comparison to COVID period. Always good speaking to you.